everyone, here we go with another round of box office predictions. Recapping last weekend a little though, I did pretty well. I went 4 for 5. As expected, Thor Ragnarok topped the charts with $122.7 million. Then came A Bad Mom's Christmas with a good deal less than I thought, taking just $16.8 million. In third, we had Jigsaw with $6.6 million. Then Tyler Perry's Boo 2: A Medea Halloween with $4.5 million. And then finally, Geostorm just beating out Happy Death Day for the number 5 spot with $3.2 million. Let's jump into this weekend now, starting with my number 5 pick, and that's where I have Jigsaw. So yeah, clearly this one's falling pretty fast, but this weekend I think it has enough of a lead on the competition that even if it loses 55% of last weekend's earnings, it's still going to be able to secure that number 5 spot with about $3 million even. Now moving on to number 4, that's where I'm putting Bad Mom's Christmas. So normally when I'm talking about a sequel making a lot less money than an original did, I would say something along the lines of it's got less to lose, but Bad Moms, the first movie, only dropped 41%, and I have a feeling Bad Moms Christmas is going to drop way more than that, especially when you compare their cinema scores. The first movie had an A, and the second one only has a B, so I'm thinking Bad Moms Christmas might be dropping about 50%. That would leave it with $8 million for its second weekend in theaters. Moving on to number 3 now, that is where I have newcomer Murder on the Orient Express. So here's where having a cast full of famous faces really comes in handy. I don't think there's all that much buzz around this Murder on the Orient Express movie, but when you got a roster like that, it's gonna draw some attention. Originally, when I was trying to peg the number for this one, I kept looking at Pan, maybe because that one is also a spectacle, as famous source material, has a lot of famous faces, but I think Murder on the Orient Express is gonna do a lot better than that one, but really not great for a movie like this. I'd be surprised if it made more than $23 million. And in this weekend, that's only going to be good enough for number 3 because at number 2, I actually have Daddy's Home 2. So the first Daddy's Home movie kind of surprised everyone. It had a huge opening weekend of $38.7 million. I don't think the sequel is coming anywhere close to that number, but still, that number does prove there's an audience for this, especially when the sequel beefed up the cast a little. So I'm thinking Daddy's Home 2 might be able to lock this number 2 spot with something like $28 million. And now that leaves one movie that's a pretty obvious choice for number 1. We've got Thor Ragnarok back in the top spot. So it's pretty much a no-brainer that Thor Ragnarok was gonna be in this number 1 spot, but again, we need to figure out what this thing is gonna make. Sticking with the Spider-Man Homecoming comparison, that movie dropped 62.2%, making the move from weekend 1 to 2. Considering Thor Ragnarok opened up a little bigger, it doesn't have all this summer competition in its way, I'm thinking that it's gonna hold on even stronger than Homecoming. I mean, it might just drop 55%, and if that's the case, Thor Ragnarok is going to have a second weekend in theaters of $55 million, a nice chunk of money right there. Now it's time to recap my predictions. I've got Thor Ragnarok sitting at the top spot with $55 million, Daddy's Home 2 coming in at number 2 with $28 million, Murder on the Orient Express at number 3 with $23 million, then Bad Mom's Christmas at number 4 with $8 million, and then Jigsaw at number 5 with $3 million. Those are my predictions. It is your turn now. Hit that comment section, share your list there so we could talk about it. And we have another Patreon shout out to give today, Jason Phillips. So Jason's been with my Patreon campaign since the very beginning, since I first launched it. So Jason, thank you so much for your continued support. Really means a lot to me. Thank you to everybody else for watching this video. Please share, like, all that good stuff, and I will see you soon with more box office predictions.